She was 6 months pregnant when her millionaire husband looked her in the eyes and said 5 words that shattered her world. Pack your things and get out. No warning, no explanation, just cold, calculated cruelty. He thought he held all the power. The mansion was in his name, the cars, the bank accounts, everything. She had nothing. Or so he believed. But here's what this arrogant man didn't know. Here's what nobody knew. Not even Charlotte herself until she opened a dusty filing cabinet in her dead father's office. The land, the 2.5 acres of prime real estate beneath that $6 million mansion. Every single inch of it belonged to her. Her father saw this coming, years before, and he left her the ultimate weapon. What happens when a man who thinks he's untouchable discovers he built his empire on ground he doesn't own? Stay with me until the end, because this story has a twist you will never see coming. Pack your things and get out. Charlotte stood in the foyer, her hand moved to her belly. 6 months pregnant. The baby kicked once, twice, like she could sense something was wrong. The marble floor gleamed beneath her feet. She had picked this marble, spent 3 weeks choosing between ivory and cream. Rick said it didn't matter. She chose ivory anyway. What? Her voice sounded small, distant, like it was coming from underwater. Rick didn't look up from his phone. He stood near the entrance to his study. Tailored navy suit, the expensive one, Italian wool. His cologne filled the space between them. Tom Ford, the one she bought him last Christmas. You heard me? His thumb scrolled across the screen. Business emails, probably. Always business emails. I want you out by tonight. The late afternoon sun streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, the ones that made the mansion feel less like a showpiece, more like a home. At least that's what she told herself when they installed them. Charlotte's mind struggled to catch up. This morning had been normal. Well, normal for them. Rick left at 6:30, kissed her forehead, said he had meetings all day. She made breakfast, scrambled eggs, toast, orange juice, ate alone at the kitchen island. Now this. Rick, I'm pregnant with your baby. He finally looked up. His eyes were cold, flat, stranger's eyes. When had they become strangers? That's being handled. 3 words. That's being handled, like she was a broken appliance, a problem to solve, an expense to manage. The baby kicked again. Hard this time. Charlotte's other hand joined the first, cradling, protecting. You can't just throw me out. This is my home too. Rick slipped his phone into his pocket, straightened his tie. The silk one, charcoal gray. She bought that too. Their anniversary. 2 years ago. Or was it 3? Actually, the house is in my name. The cars are in my name. The accounts are in my name. He paused, let the words sink in. You have nothing, Charlotte. Nothing. The word echoed in her head, bounced off the walls of her skull. You have nothing. 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 Where am I supposed to go? That's your problem. He moved past her, toward his study. His footsteps clicked against the marble. Steady, unhurried. My lawyer will be in touch about the divorce. Divorce, the word hung in the air. Heavy, final, like smoke from a fire she didn't know was burning. Charlotte watched him walk away. 8 years of marriage, dismissed in 5 minutes. Her legs felt weak, unstable. She sat down on the bottom stair. The same stair where they took Christmas photos last year, where little Grace sat in her red velvet dress waiting for Santa. Grace, Rick's daughter from his first marriage, 5 years old, blonde pigtails, missing front tooth. Charlotte helped braid her hair every other weekend, read her bedtime stories, made her favorite pancakes shaped like Mickey Mouse. Would she ever see Grace again? Her phone. She needed her phone. She needed Beth. But first she needed to understand this didn't make sense. Rick was cruel sometimes, dismissive often, but this was different. This was calculated, planned. The study door stood partially open. Charlotte could hear his voice, low, confident. She shouldn't listen. She should leave, call Beth, pack her things, do what he said. But her feet wouldn't move. It's done, V. She's leaving tonight. V. Who was V? A pause. Then Rick laughed. Actually laughed. The sound made Charlotte's stomach turn. No, she has no idea about the prenup clause or the accounts. Prenup clause? What prenup clause? Another pause. Longer this time. Baby, By next week, you'll be moving in. Baby. He called someone else baby. Charlotte's hand gripped the banister. The wood was smooth, cool. She had picked this too. Mahogany. Rick said oak was fine. She insisted on mahogany. The lawyer says it's airtight. She'll contest, obviously, but she'll lose. They always do. They always do. Her other hand stayed on her belly. The baby kicked. 1, 2, 3, 4. Charlotte did what she always did when her world tilted. She counted. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths, 4. Air in, air out, in, out. The study door clicked shut. Rick's voice became muffled, indistinct. Charlotte stood. Her legs shook but held. She walked through the house. Her house, except it wasn't. Apparently it never was. The living room, white sectional sofa, gray throw pillows, glass coffee table with fresh flowers. She changed those flowers twice a week. Peonies, always peonies. The dining room, table for 12. They never had 12 people over. Never had anyone over except Grace. The kitchen, white cabinets, marble countertops, wolf range, sub-zero refrigerator. She learned to cook in this kitchen. Tried new recipes, failed at most of them. Rick never complained. He just stopped coming home for dinner. She climbed the stairs, one hand on the railing, one hand on her belly. Each step felt heavier than the last. The bedroom, California king bed, gray linen sheets, 400 thread count. She washed them every Sunday. Rick said it was excessive. She did it anyway. The walk-in closet smelled like cedar. Rick's suits on one side, her clothes on the other. Maternity clothes now. Stretchy pants, loose shirts, nothing fit right anymore. Charlotte pulled out her suitcase. The small one, carry-on size. For weekend trips, they never took anymore. Her hands moved automatically. Underwear, 2 pairs of maternity pants, 3 shirts, her father's watch. The one thing Rick couldn't claim because it was never his. She folded each item perfectly. Edges aligned, corners crisp, despite everything. Despite the fact her life was imploding. She still folded the clothes perfectly. Her mother taught her that. Order in chaos, control in crisis. The baby kicked. Charlotte paused. Sat on the edge of the bed. The same bed where they conceived this child. 4 months ago. Maybe 5. One of those rare nights when Rick came home before midnight. "We're going to be okay," she whispered. Her hand made circles on her belly. Slow, gentle. "I don't know how, but we will be." She was lying. She knew she was lying, but she needed to say it out loud. Make it real. Make it possible. Her phone buzzed. Text from Beth. "Lunch tomorrow? That new Italian place?" Charlotte stared at the message. Tomorrow. What was tomorrow? Thursday? Friday? Did it matter? Her fingers typed without thinking. "Emergency, can you come now?" 3 dots appeared immediately, then disappeared, then appeared again. "Dress? On my way." Charlotte sent the address. Beth would come. Beth always came. She zipped the suitcase. It was light, too light for a life. But what else could she take? Everything here was Rick's, the furniture, the art, the dishes, even her clothes. Paid for with his credit cards. "You have nothing, Charlotte." She stood, looked around the bedroom one last time. The bed they shared, the windows overlooking the garden, the fireplace that never worked right. This was supposed to be her forever home, her safe place, her sanctuary. Now it was just another place she used to live. Charlotte walked downstairs. The suitcase bumped against each step. Her phone buzzed again. "Rick, when you leave your keys on the kitchen counter. The garage code will be changed by tomorrow." No goodbye, no apology, just logistics. She didn't respond. What was there to say? The foyer looked different now, colder, emptier. The afternoon sun had shifted. Shadows stretched across the marble floor. Charlotte heard a car in the driveway. Beth, thank God. She grabbed her purse, her keys, walked toward the door. The study door opened. Rick stood in the doorway, phone in hand, tie loosened. He looked annoyed, inconvenienced. "You're still here." Charlotte met his eyes, those stranger's eyes. "I'm leaving." "Good. He glanced at her suitcase. That's all you're taking? That's all that's mine. Something flickered across his face. Surprise, maybe? Or satisfaction? It was gone before she could tell. The lawyer will send papers. Sign them. Don't make this difficult. Don't make this difficult. Like she was the problem. Like she was the one tearing their life apart. Charlotte walked past him. Didn't look back. The front door was heavy. Solid mahogany. She had picked this too. Outside, Beth's Honda Accord sat in the circular driveway. Beth jumped out, rushed toward her. Oh, honey, what happened? What's going on? Charlotte opened her mouth. Nothing came out. The words were stuck, trapped behind the lump in her throat. Beth took the suitcase, guided her to the car. It's okay. You're okay. Just breathe. Breathe, right. One breath, two breaths, three breaths, four. Charlotte got in the passenger seat. The door closed. The mansion loomed in the rearview mirror. 6,000 square feet of glass and steel and marble. Her prison, her palace, her past. Beth started the car. They drove down the long driveway, past the professionally landscaped gardens, past the fountain that cost more than most people's cars, past the iron gates that opened automatically. Charlotte watched it all disappear, block by block, mile by mile. She didn't cry, couldn't cry. The tears were there, behind her eyes, in her chest, but they wouldn't come. The baby kicked, persistent, demanding attention. I know, Charlotte whispered. I know you're there. Beth glanced over. Tell me what happened. So Charlotte told her. Everything, the eviction, the phone call, the voice on speakerphone. Vanessa probably, Rick's business consultant, young, ambitious, everything Charlotte used to be before she became Mrs. Richard Bennett. Beth's knuckles went white on the steering wheel. That bastard, that absolute bastard. He's been planning this for months. Charlotte's voice was steady now, flat, numb. And I think I know why. They sat in Beth's car, parked down the street from the mansion. Engine off, windows cracked. The evening air smelled like jasmine. Someone's garden, someone's normal life. Charlotte told Beth everything she heard through the study door. Every word burned into her memory. The prenup clause, the accounts, the timeline. By next week, you'll be moving in. Beth's face went from shock to furious to calculating. Her real estate agent brain was working, processing, planning. That son of a... Beth stopped herself, took a breath. Okay, first things first. You need a lawyer, not just any lawyer. Margaret Crawford. She's a shark. I can't afford... Yes, you can. We'll figure it out. Beth started the car. Where's your paperwork? Marriage license? Financial documents? The prenup? Charlotte's stomach dropped, landed somewhere near her knees. In his study? In the safe. Of course they are. Beth drummed her fingers on the steering wheel. Short nails, practical, no nonsense. What about your father's papers? You said he helped with the house. Charlotte's father, William Hayes. The memory hit her like a wave. 3 years ago, heart attack, sudden, devastating. 1 minute he was fine, the next he was gone. He'd been a contractor his whole life. Built half the houses in their hometown. Small town, 2 hours east of Portland. Population 3,000. Everyone knew everyone. Everyone knew Bill Hayes built things to last. When Charlotte and Rick got engaged, her father was thrilled. Cautious, but thrilled. He met Rick once, twice, 3 times, shook his hand, smiled, said all the right things. But later, alone with Charlotte, he'd say, that boy loves money more than people. You sure about this? Charlotte was sure. Rick was successful, driven. He made her feel safe after years of struggling. After working 3 jobs to pay for community college. After living in a studio apartment with a shower that barely worked. Rick offered stability, security, a future that didn't involve choosing between groceries and rent. Her father didn't say anything else, walked her down the aisle, cried during the ceremony, hugged Rick, welcomed him to the family. He died 2 months before the mansion broke ground, but he'd been involved in the planning, the design, drove out to Portland every weekend, met with architects, reviewed blueprints, gave input Rick mostly ignored. He also helped with the land purchase. The land purchase. Charlotte's heart stopped. Started again. Faster. Harder. Beth, take me to my mother's house. Your mom's? Why? Because my father kept copies of everything, and I need to see the land deed. Beth didn't ask questions, just drove. They merged onto the highway, headed east, away from Portland's suburbs, away from mansions and manicured lawns. Toward the town where Charlotte grew up, the sun was setting, orange and pink streaked across the sky. Charlotte watched it through the window, colors bleeding together, beautiful and temporary, like her marriage. Her phone buzzed. Rick again. Reminder, keys on counter, garage code changes at midnight. No mention of her, no concern for where she'd sleep, what she'd do, how she'd survive. Just logistics. Always logistics. Charlotte turned off her phone. Couldn't deal with it. Any of it. Not right now. They drove in silence. Beth knew when to talk. Knew when to be quiet. That's what 20 years of friendship looked like. Since third grade. Since Charlotte's first day at a new school. Since Beth invited her to sit at lunch and shared her peanut butter sandwich. Some things you don't forget. The highway gave way to two-lane roads. Farms appeared, vineyards, pastures with cows and horses. The Portland suburbs felt like another planet, another lifetime. Charlotte watched it all blur past. She had dreamed of leaving this town, going to college, making something of herself. She did leave, did go to college, community college, then Portland State, graphic design degree, freelance work, barely scraping by, then Rick. Rick with his tech startup, his vision, his ambition. He swept her off her feet, made her feel special, chosen, elevated. Now she understood. She wasn't chosen. She was convenient, young enough to be molded, quiet enough to be ignored, grateful enough to not ask questions. Until now. Tell me about the prenup, Beth said. Her eyes stayed on the road. What did you sign? Charlotte tried to remember. They got married at City Hall. Small ceremony, just immediate family. Her parents. Rick's mother, Patricia. His business partner, Tom. The prenup came a week before. Rick's lawyer brought it to their apartment, explained the terms. Charlotte mostly heard white noise, legal jargon, complicated clauses. It said if we divorced, I wouldn't get alimony, wouldn't get the house, would only get what I brought into the marriage. Which was? Nothing. Student loans, a Honda Civic that died 2 months after we got married. Beth was quiet for a moment. Did it say anything about infidelity? Infidelity. The word felt wrong in her mouth, but Charlotte forced herself to think, remember. The lawyer had mentioned something, and if either party committed adultery, the other party would receive, what, nothing? Everything? She couldn't remember. I don't know, maybe. It was so long ago. We need to find out. Beth took the exit toward Charlotte's hometown. Because I'm guessing Rick has a plan, and that plan involves making you look bad. Charlotte's mind raced backward. 6 months ago, that business conference in Denver. Rick insisted she go, meet his associates, network. Good for his image, the successful entrepreneur with the supportive wife. She went. 3 days. Nice hotel. Boring seminars, endless cocktail parties. Tom Bradshaw was there, Rick's business partner. Charming, attentive. He bought her drinks. They had dinner, talked about business, about Portland, about nothing important. She thought it was friendly, professional. Tom was married. She was married. It was just dinner. Oh, God. The photos. Beth glanced over. What photos? Tom took photos of us at dinner. I thought he was just being nice, documenting the conference. But we were sitting close, laughing. Anyone looking at those photos would think you were having an affair. I wasn't. It was just dinner. One dinner. Nothing happened. Doesn't matter what actually happened. Matters what Rick can make it look like. Charlotte felt sick. The baby kicked. Hard. Protesting. Or maybe warning her. Too late for warnings now. He set me up. Rick set me up. The pieces fell into place. Rick insisting she go to Denver, making sure Tom would be there. Probably told Tom to be extra friendly. Take photos, create evidence. Evidence Rick could use to claim she committed adultery. Evidence to nullify any claim she had to anything. Evidence to paint her as the villain. I'm not crazy. This was planned from the start. They drove through town. Main Street looked the same. Same hardware store, same diner, same pharmacy with the faded awning. Nothing changed here. Nothing ever changed. Beth turned onto Maple Street. Charlotte's childhood home sat at the end. Small ranch house, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. White siding, blue shutters, roses in the front garden. Her mother's roses. The porch light was on. Always on. Ellen Hayes left it on every night, in case someone needed to find their way home. Charlotte's throat tightened. She was home. Actually home. Beth parked in the driveway. Charlotte sat for a moment, gathering strength, gathering courage. How do you tell your mother your life fell apart? The front door opened. Ellen stood in the doorway. 63 years old, gray hair pulled back, worn jeans, flannel shirt. She took one look at Charlotte's face, one look at the suitcase in Beth's hand. What did he do? Not what happened. What did he do? Her mother never trusted Rick, never said it outright, but Charlotte could tell. The tight smile, the careful questions, the way she never fully relaxed around him. Charlotte got out of the car. Her mother met her halfway, pulled her into a hug. Tight, fierce, protective. He threw me out, Charlotte whispered. He's divorcing me, and I think he's been planning it for months. Ellen didn't say I told you so, didn't say she knew, just held her daughter, let her be small, let her be scared. After a moment, Ellen pulled back, looked at Charlotte's belly. Put a hand there, gentle. The baby kicked in response. You're staying here, both of you, as long as you need. Mom, no arguments. Your room is exactly how you left it. We'll figure out the rest tomorrow. Beth brought in the suitcase. Ellen made tea, chamomile, sweet, hot. They sat at the kitchen table, the same table where Charlotte did homework, ate family dinners, learned to play cards. Charlotte told her mother everything, the eviction, the phone call, Vanessa, the setup, the prenup, all of it. Ellen listened, silent. Her face grew harder with each detail. When Charlotte finished, her mother stood. Your father's office, everything's still there. I couldn't bear to go through it. The office, Charlotte had forgotten about the office. They walked through the house, past the living room with its worn furniture, past the hallway with family photos, to the back door. The office was a converted garage, her father's sanctuary. Blueprints covered the walls. Tools hung on pegboards. Everything organized, labeled. Filing cabinets stood against the back wall. Charlotte opened the cabinet marked Charlotte. House project. Inside were dozens of folders, permits, contractor agreements, design plans, cost estimates. Her father had documented everything. Every conversation with Rick, every decision, every change, and a manila envelope. Thick, heavy, marked land deed. Original. Charlotte's hand shook as she opened it. The deed was 30 pages, legal language she barely understood. Property boundaries, survey maps, easements, restrictions. She flipped to the signature page. Owner of record, Charlotte Marie Hayes, not Charlotte Bennett. Her maiden name, Charlotte Hayes. The date, 8 years and 2 months ago, 3 weeks before her wedding. Beth read over her shoulder. Holy shit. Charlotte couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't process what she was seeing. My father bought this land before Rick and I got married. In your name. Beth's voice was quiet, awed. Your dad put it in your name. Ellen appeared in the doorway. Her eyes were wet. He didn't trust Rick. Said any man who talked that much about money wasn't to be trusted with his daughter's future. She wiped her eyes. He wanted you to have something Rick couldn't touch. Charlotte read the document again. And again. The legal description, the parcel number, the acreage. 2.5 acres of prime Portland real estate. Purchased 8 years and 2 months ago for $600,000. worth at minimum $3 million now, maybe more. Rick doesn't own the house. He owns the structure, the building. But the land underneath, the foundation, the land is mine. Charlotte's phone buzzed. She turned it back on. Text from an unknown number. Ms. Bennett, this is Harold Crane from Crane and Associates. I represent Richard Bennett in his divorce petition. Please contact my office immediately regarding property vacating procedures. So it was real. It was happening. Rick had already hired a lawyer, already filed papers, already set everything in motion. But Rick didn't know. He didn't know about the land. Didn't know her father put it in her name. Didn't know the $6 million mansion he was so proud of sat on property he didn't own. He thought he had all the power. He was wrong. Charlotte looked at her mother, at Beth, at the land deed in her hands. I need a lawyer, tonight. Beth made the call, left a message. Maggie Crawford didn't work nights, nobody did. But Beth explained it was an emergency, a real emergency, not the my kitchen renovation went wrong kind, the my life is imploding kind. Charlotte sat at her mother's kitchen table. The land deed spread in front of her as she read it again. Fourth time, fifth time. The words started to blur. Property boundaries, legal descriptions, signatures. Her father's signature. Strong, clear. William James Hayes. The baby kicked. Constant now, restless. Like she could sense Charlotte's racing heart. Ellen made sandwiches, turkey and Swiss. Charlotte's favorite when she was little. Comfort food, simple, familiar. Charlotte ate without tasting, chewed without thinking. Her phone kept buzzing. Rick. Unknown numbers. More texts from Harold Crane, each one more insistent than the last. Please acknowledge receipt of previous message. Time-sensitive legal matter requires immediate attention. Failure to respond may result in adverse legal consequences. Adverse legal consequences. What a joke. What could be more adverse than being thrown out of her home while pregnant? Beth grabbed the phone, silenced it, set it face down on the table. Stop reading those. They're just trying to scare you. It's working. That's what they want. Don't give them the satisfaction. Charlotte pushed her plate away, half-eaten sandwich. She couldn't finish it. Her stomach was in knots, tight, anxious. Tell me about Jennifer, Ellen said. She poured more tea. Rick's first wife. Jennifer, Charlotte had met her a handful of times. Always polite, always pleasant, but there was something underneath, something guarded, like she knew a secret she wasn't sharing. They got divorced 8 years ago, right before Rick and I met. She has full custody of Grace. He gets visitation every other weekend. Why did they divorce? Rick said they grew apart, wanted different things. It was amicable. Beth snorted. Nothing about Rick is amicable. Ellen sat down. Have you ever asked Jennifer her side? Charlotte shook her head. It felt weird, intrusive. You don't ask your husband's ex-wife about their marriage. That's crossing a line. Except Rick already crossed every line. Threw the lines away, set them on fire. I have her number for Grace, in case of emergencies. Call her, Ellen said. Tomorrow. Tell her what happened. I bet you'll find out something interesting. Charlotte thought about it. Jennifer was always kind to her. Never hostile, never jealous. Just distant. Professional. Like they were colleagues instead of family. Maybe there was a reason for that. Her phone buzzed again. Beth groaned, picked it up. It's Maggie Crawford. She says she can meet tomorrow morning. 9 o'clock, her office, room. Tomorrow morning, that was 12 hours away. 12 hours of not knowing, not understanding, not having a plan. Charlotte nodded. Tell her I'll be there. Beth typed a response, set the phone down. You should rest. You've been through hell today. I can't rest. Every time I close my eyes, I see his face, hear his voice. You have nothing, Charlotte. Ellen reached across the table, took Charlotte's hand. But you do have something. You have that land. You have us. You have your baby. And tomorrow you'll have a lawyer. Charlotte wanted to believe her, wanted to feel strong, confident, ready to fight. Instead, she felt exhausted, hollow, like someone scooped out her insides and left her empty. I'm going to take a shower, she said. Try to wash today off. Her old bedroom looked exactly the same. Twin bed with the pink comforter, posters of bands she loved in high school, bookshelf full of paperbacks, desk where she did homework, window overlooking the backyard, time capsule. Her 17-year-old self lived here, dreamed here, planned her escape here. Be careful what you wish for. Charlotte showered, hot water, her mother's lavender soap. The smell brought back memories, childhood, safety. Before everything got complicated, she put on her father's old sweatshirt, soft, worn. It still smelled like him. Sawdust, coffee, Old Spice. She buried her face in it, let herself cry. Finally, the tears came hard, fast, silent. She pressed the sweatshirt to her mouth, muffled the sims, didn't want her mother to hear, didn't want to worry anyone more than she already had. The baby kicked, protesting or comforting. Hard to tell. I'm sorry, Charlotte whispered. I'm so sorry you're stuck with me as your mom. You deserve better. You deserve someone who has their life together. The baby kicked again, harder. Message received. Stop the pity party. Charlotte climbed into bed. The mattress was too soft, the blanket too thin, but it was hers from before, when life was simple, when the biggest problem was what to wear to prom, who to sit with at lunch, whether she'd get into college. She'd give anything to go back, do it differently, make better choices, but she couldn't. Nobody could. She fell asleep counting her breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4. Morning came too soon. Sunlight through thin curtains, birds chirping, smell of coffee from the kitchen. Charlotte lay there for a moment, hoping yesterday was a dream, a nightmare. She'd wake up in the mansion, in the California king bed. Rick would be gone already. At work, she'd make breakfast, go about her day, everything would be normal. Then the baby kicked. Reality crashed back. Not a dream. Very real. Very much happening. She got dressed, maternity jeans, blue sweater, her father's watch, looked at herself in the mirror. 35 years old, pregnant, homeless, soon to be divorced. This was not how life was supposed to go. Ellen had breakfast ready, scrambled eggs, toast, fresh squeezed orange juice. Charlotte ate, forced herself. The baby needed nutrients, even if Charlotte's appetite was gone. Beth is picking you up at 8:30, Ellen said. I wrote down everything I remember about the land purchase. Dates, amounts, conversations I overheard. It might help. Charlotte took the paper, her mother's neat handwriting, detailed notes, dates that matched the deed, prices that made sense. Thank you, Mom. Your father would be proud of you, standing up for yourself, fighting back. I'm not fighting, I'm just trying to survive. That's what fighting looks like sometimes. Beth arrived right on time. They drove back to Portland. Morning traffic, commuters, everyone going about their normal lives. Charlotte watched them. Man in a suit, woman putting on makeup at a stoplight, teenager texting while driving. Normal. Everything so normal for them. Tell me about Maggie, Charlotte said. How do you know her? She handled my divorce 3 years ago, remember? Charlotte remembered. Beth's ex-husband, nice guy, they just wanted different things. It was actually amicable, unlike everything with Rick. She's tough, no nonsense, doesn't take cases she can't win. If she takes yours, you're in good hands. What if she won't take it? She will. This is exactly the kind of case she loves. Powerful man thinks he's untouchable. Underestimated woman with secret weapon. It's like catnip for her. They parked downtown, 20th floor, glass and steel building, expensive, intimidating. The elevator was silent, smooth. Charlotte watched the numbers climb. 10, 15, 20. Her stomach dropped with each floor. Margaret Crawford's office was impressive. Corner suite, floor-to-ceiling windows, view of Mount Hood, art on the walls, real art, not prints. The receptionist smiled. Miss Bennett, Miss Crawford is ready for you. Maggie Crawford was not what Charlotte expected. 5'2", silver hair cut sharp, glasses that probably cost more than Charlotte's old car, but her handshake was firm. Her eyes were sharp, assessing, calculating. Sit. Tell me everything. Don't leave anything out. So Charlotte told her again, the eviction, the phone call, Vanessa, the prenup, the setup in Denver, the land deed, all of it. Maggie listened, didn't interrupt, took notes. When Charlotte finished, she sat back, smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. It was a predator's smile, a shark who smelled blood. Oh, this is going to be fun. Maggie spread documents across her conference table. The land deed, the prenup Beth had found online. Public record. Anyone could access it if they knew where to look. Text messages Charlotte had screenshotted from Rick's phone. 6 months of suspicious activity. Late-night texts. Deleted call logs. Evidence she'd been collecting without realizing it. Timeline of Rick's trips. Credit card statements Beth pulled from their joint account before Rick closed it this morning. 3 charges to the same hotel in Seattle. Always the same dates. Always when he said he was at different conferences. Sloppy. Rick was sloppy or arrogant. Probably both. Here's what he did wrong. Maggie tapped the prenup. Her nails were painted dark red. Professional. Perfect. This prenup assumes marital property, joint assets, a community property, but this land, she tapped the deed, this land is separate property, premarital, titled solely in your name. You never added him. Charlotte felt dizzy. So the house? The house is his. He built it, paid for construction, but it's sitting on your land, without a lease agreement, without any written permission from you as the property owner. Maggie's smile widened. He's technically trespassing. Beth grinned, leaned back in her chair. Can we make him leave? Eventually, but that's not the best play. Maggie looked at Charlotte, really looked at her like she could see inside. What do you want? Really want? Good question. What did Charlotte want? Revenge? Maybe. Part of her wanted Rick to suffer. Feel what she felt. Helpless. Powerless. Small. Justice? Definitely. Someone needed to hold him accountable. He couldn't just do this, throw her away, move on, face no consequences. But more than that, I want my baby to be secure. I want to never be powerless again. And I want Rick to know what it feels like to lose everything. As she said it, Charlotte realized she was sitting up straighter. Her hands weren't shaking anymore. For the first time since Rick said, pack your things, she felt steady, solid, real. Then here's what we do. Maggie pulled out a legal pad, started writing. First, we file a motion to halt all divorce proceedings pending property dispute resolution. Second, we file notice that Richard Bennett is illegally occupying your property. Third, we demand he cease all attempts to claim ownership or force your removal. What will that do? Scare him, make him realize he's not in control, force him to negotiate from a position of weakness instead of strength. Charlotte's phone rang. Rick, she ignored it. Then a text. Where are you? We need to talk about transition logistics. Transition logistics. Like she was an employee being let go. Severance package, exit interview, clean break. Maggie saw the text. Don't respond. From now on, all communication goes through me. You don't talk to him. You don't text him. You definitely don't meet with him alone. What about his lawyer? Harold Crane, I know him. He's good but predictable. Likes to bully people into settlements. Won't work here. Maggie made more notes. I'll call him this afternoon. Let him know you're represented. Then we'll see how fast Rick's tune changes. The baby kicked, hard. Charlotte winced. You okay? Beth asked. Yeah, she's just active today. Probably stressed. She? Maggie smiled. You know? Not officially, but I feel it. Mother's intuition or whatever. Trust it. Mother's intuition is usually right. They talk for another hour. Strategy, timeline, costs. Maggie's retainer was $15,000. Charlotte felt sick. She didn't have $15,000. Didn't have $1,500. I can't afford. Yes, you can, Maggie interrupted. You own land worth $3 million minimum. I'll take my fee from the settlement or sale proceeds. Standard contingency arrangement. What if we lose? We won't lose, trust me. After the meeting, Charlotte and Beth sat in a coffee shop. Neither ordered coffee. Charlotte got chamomile tea. Hot. The cup warmed her hands. She watched people. A couple arguing over what to order. An older man reading a newspaper. A teenager on her phone. Oblivious to everything around her. Normal. Everything was so normal for them. Charlotte wondered what her life looked like from the outside. Pregnant woman with tea. Could be anything. Could be happy. Could be planning a nursery. Could be excited about her future. They'd never guess, never know. That's the thing about crisis. It's invisible until it's not. Maggie's right, Beth said. You're going to be okay. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Because you're stronger than you think. Stronger than Rick ever gave you credit for. Charlotte wanted to believe her, but belief required energy, hope, faith. She was running low on all three. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Then something made her pick up. Charlotte, it's Jennifer. Jennifer, Rick's first wife, Grace's mother. Charlotte's heart raced. Hi, is Grace okay? Grace is fine. I heard what happened. Can we meet? Today? How did she know? Who told her? Rick? I don't know if that's a good idea. Rick can go to hell. Jennifer's voice was sharp, clear. I'm not asking permission. I'm asking to meet. Please. Something in her tone, urgent, important. Charlotte looked at Beth, mouthed Jennifer. Beth nodded. Go. Okay, where? Washington Park, near the Rose Garden, 1 hour. The call ended. Charlotte stared at her phone. This was weird. Jennifer never called. They texted about Grace. Drop-off times, awesome. Pickup schedules, surface-level stuff. Never personal, never urgent. This is either really good or really bad, Beth said. Only one way to find out. Washington Park was crowded. Tourists, families, joggers. Charlotte found the Rose Garden, sat on a bench, waited. The roses were blooming, reds, pinks, yellows. Her mother would love this. Ellen Hayes and her roses. Some things were genetic. Jennifer arrived 10 minutes later. She looked the same, polished, professional, black pants, white blouse, hair pulled back, corporate lawyer, always put together, always in control. But her eyes were different, intense, focused. She sat down next to Charlotte, didn't waste time. He did the same thing to me 8 years ago. Charlotte's breath caught. What? I was pregnant 6 months with Grace. Rick started working late, business trips. Then one day, out of nowhere, he said, this isn't working. I want a divorce. The words hit Charlotte like physical blows. But you said it was amicable, that you grew apart. That's what I told people. What he told people. Truth? He blindsided me, had another woman lined up, moved her in 2 weeks after I left. Charlotte felt sick. Who? Heather something, blonde, 24, worked at his company. She thought she'd won the lottery. Jennifer's laugh was bitter, empty. He traded her in 6 months later, for someone else, then someone else. There's always someone else. A pattern. This was Rick's pattern. Not a one-time thing, not a mistake, a system, a method. Did you have a prenup? Yeah, said if I cheated, I got nothing. Funny thing, he accused me of cheating. Said he had proof, photos of me with a colleague. We were at a work dinner. Nothing happened, but Rick made it look bad. Charlotte's hands were shaking. He set you up. He sets everyone up. That's what he does. Makes you feel special, chosen. Then when he's done, he makes you the villain, so he can walk away clean. How did you fight back? I didn't, not really. My family had money, good lawyers. I got primary custody of Grace, child support, but no alimony. The prenup held up. Rick made sure of that. Charlotte thought about Grace, sweet, innocent, caught in the middle of her father's pattern. Does Grace know about the other women? She's 5. She knows Daddy has lots of girlfriends, but she doesn't understand, won't understand for years. Jennifer looked at Charlotte's belly. Is this his? Yes. Have you thought about what you want? Full custody? Joint? I don't know. Everything happens so fast. Yesterday morning, I had a husband, a home, a plan. Now I have nothing. You have more than you think. Jennifer pulled out her phone, scrolled, showed Charlotte a photo. This is Heather, Rick's girlfriend after me. Young, blonde, beautiful, smiling at the camera, happy, oblivious. She tried to contact me 2 years ago, asked questions about Rick, about our marriage. I told her the truth. She didn't believe me. Told me I was bitter, jealous, that Rick loved her. She was different. What happened? She called me 6 months later, crying, apologizing. He'd done the same thing to her. Made her sign an NDA. Threatened her if she talked. She was terrified. Charlotte processed this. Multiple women, same pattern, same tactics, same outcome. Why are you telling me this? Because you need to know what you're up against. Rick is methodical, calculated. He doesn't do anything without a plan. If he threw you out yesterday, he's been planning it for months, maybe longer. He had another woman, Vanessa, his business consultant. There you go, next in line. She'll be you in 2 years, then someone else will be her. They sat in silence, watched tourists take photos of roses, a little boy chasing a butterfly, a couple kissing near the fountain. Normal lives, normal problems. Charlotte put a hand on her belly. The baby was quiet now, resting or listening. I found something, Charlotte said. My father bought the land the mansion sits on. Put it in my name before I married Rick. Jennifer's eyes widened. Rick doesn't own it? No, he owns the house, but not the land underneath. For the first time, Jennifer smiled, really smiled. Oh, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. My lawyer says we can make him leave. Technically, he's trespassing. Do it. Make him feel what we felt, what all of us felt. Charlotte thought about it, the mansion. $6 million of glass and steel and marble. Rick's pride, his trophy, his symbol of success. Built on land he didn't own, didn't even know he didn't own. Her father, William Hayes, contractor, builder, protector. He knew, and all those years ago, he knew Rick couldn't be trusted. Knew Charlotte might need leverage someday, so he gave it to her, wrapped it in legal documents, buried it in a filing cabinet. Waited for her to find it. Thank you, Dad. I should go, Jennifer said, but call me if you need anything. I mean it. Numbers, names, proof of Rick's pattern. Whatever helps. Why help me? We barely know each other. Because someone should have helped me. Maybe it would have been different. Maybe not. But at least I would have known I wasn't alone. Jennifer stood. You're not alone, Charlotte. None of us are. She left, walked away through the rose garden, disappeared into the crowd. Charlotte sat there for a long time, thinking, processing, understanding. Rick had a type. Young, quiet, grateful, easy to control, easy to discard. He thought Charlotte fit that mold. Thought she'd go quietly, take what he offered, disappear. He was wrong. The next 3 days were a blur. Paperwork, meetings, phone calls. Maggie worked fast, filed motions, sent letters. Made it clear Charlotte Bennett was not going away quietly. Harold Crane called. Rick's lawyer, Maggie put him on speaker. Ms. Crawford, let's be reasonable. My client is willing to offer Ms. Bennett a generous settlement, $200,000. Full custody for him once the child is born. Visitation rights for her. It's more than fair given the prenuptial agreement. Maggie laughed. Actually laughed. $200,000 for land worth $3 million minimum? Is that a joke? Silence on the other end. Then, I'm sorry, what land? The land your client built his mansion on. The land he doesn't own. The land titled solely to Charlotte Marie Hayes, my client. Check your records, Mr. Crane. More silence. Longer this time. That can't be right. It is right. I have the deed, original and certified copies. Would you like me to fax them to your office? This changes things. Yes, it does. My client rejects your offer, completely. We'll see you in court. Maggie hung up, smiled at Charlotte. That felt good. Charlotte couldn't help but smile back. What happens now? Now Rick panics, realizes he's not in control, offers more money. We reject that too. Eventually he'll understand he has two choices. Buy the land at fair market value, or watch us sell it to someone else. Can we really do that? Sell it? Absolutely, it's your land. You can do whatever you want with it. The idea was intoxicating, terrifying, powerful. Charlotte spent her days at her mother's house, resting, planning, researching. She looked up property values, comparable sales, recent transactions. Beth helped. Real estate was her world, her language. Conservatively, 3.2 million, maybe 3.5. Beth showed her listings. Similar lots, similar neighborhoods. If we market it right, could get 4 million, especially if there's a development company interested. $4 million. Charlotte couldn't wrap her mind around it. She'd never seen that much money, never imagined having that much money. What would she do with it? Where would she live? How would she raise her baby? Too many questions, not enough answers. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Again, she'd been getting calls constantly. Reporters, Rick's business associates, Patricia, Rick's mother. She'd ignored them all, until this one. Hello? Charlotte, it's Patricia. Rick's mother, patrician, perfect, always judging, always finding Charlotte lacking. Not educated enough, not sophisticated enough, not good enough for her son. Hi, Patricia. I heard what happened and I'm so sorry. Sorry, from Patricia Bennett. That was new. Thank you. Rick made a mistake. He knows that. He wants to fix things. Come back home. We can work this out. Come back home. Like nothing happened. Like he didn't throw her out. Didn't plan her destruction. Didn't already have another woman moving in. I don't think that's possible. Please, he's my son. I know he's difficult, but he loves you. He loves the baby. He's just scared. Scared. Rick Bennett scared. The man who faced down investors, negotiated million-dollar deals, built a tech empire from nothing. Scared of what? Losing control? Facing consequences? Patricia, I appreciate the call, but Rick made his choice. Now I'm making mine. Don't do this. Don't destroy him over one mistake. One mistake, that's what she called it. One mistake. Not a pattern, not a system, not years of manipulation and cruelty. I'm not destroying him. I'm protecting myself and my baby. There's a difference. The land, Charlotte. He needs the land. Without it, the banks won't refinance. His business partners are pulling out. You're ruining him. Good. Let him be ruined. Let him understand what it feels like. I have to go, Patricia. Wait, please, name your price. Whatever you want. Just sign over the land. Name your price. Everything was for sale with these people. Everything had a number, a value, a transaction point. Goodbye, Patricia. Charlotte hung up. Her hands were shaking, but not from fear, from rage, from righteous anger. They thought she was weak, thought she'd crumble, thought money would solve everything. They were wrong about all of it. That night, Charlotte couldn't sleep. The baby was active, kicking, rolling, making her presence known. Charlotte lay in her childhood bed, stared at the ceiling, counted shadows. At 2 a.m. she gave up, went to her father's office, turned on the light, looked at the blueprints on the walls, houses he built, projects he completed, each one labeled with dates, addresses, client names. In the corner, separate from the others, was the mansion, her mansion, Rick's mansion. Charlotte studied it, the design, the layout, her father's notes in the margins, suggested changes, modifications, most ignored by Rick and the architect. But one note stood out, dated 8 years ago, 3 months before Charlotte's wedding. Backup plan for Charlotte, land titled in her name only. Don't tell Rick, let it be her insurance policy. Insurance policy. Her father knew. Knew something might go wrong. Knew Rick might not be who he pretended to be. So he built her a fail-safe, a way out, a weapon she didn't know she had. Charlotte touched the blueprint. Her finger traced the outline of the mansion, 6,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, gourmet kitchen, home theater, pool, all of it sitting on her land, all of it vulnerable, precarious. She thought about Rick, probably awake too, panicking, calling lawyers, calling accountants, trying to figure out how to fix this, how to maintain control. For the first time since this started, Charlotte felt something other than fear. She felt powerful. Morning came, Charlotte showered, dressed, ate breakfast with her mother. Ellen watched her, careful, concerned. You look different. Different how? Stronger, more like yourself. Was that true? Charlotte didn't feel strong. She felt angry, determined, driven. Maybe that was the same thing. Maggie called, Ellen said. She wants you at her office by 10, said Rick's lawyer requested an emergency meeting. Emergency. Everything was an emergency now. Charlotte finished her coffee. Beth picked her up. They drove to Portland. In the car, Charlotte asked, "Do you think I'm being vindictive? Cruel? Do you?" "I don't know. Part of me wants him to suffer. Part of me just wants this over." Those things aren't mutually exclusive. The meeting was tense. Maggie's conference room. Rick and Harold on one side. Charlotte and Maggie on the other. Beth waited outside. Rick looked terrible. Dark circles under his eyes. Wrinkled shirt. Hair uncombed. His perfect image was cracking. Crumbling. Good. Harold started. "My client is prepared to offer $400,000 for the land. He'll also agree to joint custody, substantial child support, 50-50 split once the child is born." Maggie didn't blink. "My client rejects that offer." "Ms. Crawford, be reasonable. The land was purchased as a marital investment. My client contributed to improvements, paid property taxes, maintained the parcel. He has equity here. He has nothing here. The land was purchased 3 weeks before the marriage, with funds from Charlotte's father, titled solely in her name. Your client never contributed $1, never paid one property tax bill. That was handled through a separate trust established by her father. Charlotte didn't know about the trust, hadn't seen those documents, but Maggie had. Maggie had everything. Harold looked uncomfortable. "What does your client want?" "Fair market value. We have 3 offers from developers. One for $3.5 million, one for $3.8 million, one for $4 million with a demolition clause." Rick's face went from pale to gray. "You're going to let them tear down my house?" Charlotte spoke for the first time, looked directly at him. "It's not your house, Rick. It's a building illegally constructed on my property. Charlotte, please, we can work this out. Come home. We'll figure it out together." Together, like they were partners, like he didn't just try to destroy her. "You threw me out, called me nothing, set me up to look like I cheated, lined up your next girlfriend before you even told me you wanted a divorce. There is no together anymore. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I'll do better." "You don't get it. I don't want you to do better. I don't want you at all. You're toxic, manipulative, and I'm done." Rick looked at Harold, desperate, panicked. "Do something." Harold was out of options. "We need time to review our position. Consult with our client. Explore financing options." "You have 48 hours, Maggie said. "After that, we accept the highest developer bid. The mansion comes down. Your equity disappears." They left, Rick and Harold, defeated, deflated. Charlotte sat back in her chair. Her hands were steady. Her heart was racing, but in a good way, in a live way. "That was incredible," Maggie said. "You're a natural." Charlotte didn't feel natural. She felt fierce, feral, like something had unlocked inside her, something that had been sleeping, caged. Not anymore. Charlotte checked into a hotel, not her mother's house. She needed space, independence, her own place, even temporarily. Mid-range hotel, clean, anonymous. Beth helped her carry up the single suitcase. Room smelled like industrial cleaner. 2 double beds, TV from 2015. Bathroom with fluorescent lighting that made everyone look dead. But it was hers. Her name on the reservation. Her credit card. The one account Rick didn't know about. Her freelance work money. Small. But enough. Beth ordered Chinese food. They ate in silence. Charlotte's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Rick, Patricia, unknown numbers. Harold Crane, Vanessa. That was new. Don't answer it, Beth said through a mouthful of lo mein. I'm not. But she was curious. What did Vanessa want? To gloat? To apologize? To explain? The voicemail notification appeared. Charlotte ignored it. For now. You need to see Grace, Beth said. Rick can't keep her from you. You're her stepmom. Stepmom, was she still? After divorce? Did that relationship survive the destruction of the marriage? He won't let me. Not now. He's too angry. He doesn't get to decide. Call Jennifer. She has custody. She can allow it. Charlotte thought about it. Grace, sweet Grace with her blonde pigtails and gap-toothed smile. Did she know what was happening? Did Rick tell her? Did she think Charlotte abandoned her? The thought made Charlotte's chest tight. Painful. I'll call her tomorrow, after we know what Rick decides. They finished eating. Beth left around 9. Charlotte sat on the bed, stared at her phone. The voicemail from Vanessa glowed, taunting, tempting. Finally, she listened. Charlotte, it's Vanessa. I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I understand, but I need to talk to you, please. It's important. Rick isn't who I thought he was. I'm scared. Please call me back. The voice was young, shaky, frightened. Charlotte should feel satisfaction. The other woman realizing she'd been played. Karma, justice, poetic. Instead, she felt pity. Vanessa was 29, Charlotte was 35, 6 years difference, but a lifetime of experience. At 29, Charlotte was still figuring things out, still believing in fairy tales, still thinking love conquered all. Now she knew better. She called Vanessa back, against her better judgment, against Beth's advice, against every rational thought. Hello? Vanessa answered immediately, like she'd been waiting. It's Charlotte. Silence. Then crying, soft, muffled. Thank you for calling. I didn't think you would. What do you want, Vanessa? To apologize, to explain I didn't know about you, about the baby. Rick said you were separated, that the divorce was finalized months ago, that you were seeing someone else. The same lies, the same manipulation, different target, same method. He's lying. We weren't separated. He threw me out 2 days ago, while I was 6 months pregnant. More crying. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I never would have, if I'd known. But you didn't ask, did you? Didn't think to verify. Just believed him. I loved him. I thought he loved me. Past tense. Loved. Thought. What happened? Charlotte asked, curious despite herself. Yesterday, after the meeting with the lawyers, he came home, furious, screaming about the land, about you, about how you were destroying him. I tried to calm him down. He hit me. Charlotte's breath stopped. He what? Slapped me across the face, said I was useless, that I should have known about the land, that this was my fault somehow. Then he told me to leave. Get out, just like he did to you. The pattern continued. Rick discarding people when they stopped being useful, when they became inconvenient, when they witnessed his mask slipping. Where are you now? Hotel. I don't have anywhere else to go. My apartment lease ended last month. Rick said I should move in with him, that we'd be together forever. I got rid of everything. And now she had nothing, just like Charlotte, just like Jennifer, just like probably a dozen other women. Call Jennifer, Charlotte said. Jennifer Hayes. She's Rick's first ex-wife. She can help you. Tell her I sent you. Why are you helping me? I'm the other woman. I ruined your marriage. You didn't ruin anything. Rick did. He would have found someone else if not you. This is who he is. What he does. We're not enemies, Vanessa. We're survivors. The call ended. Charlotte sat in the dark hotel room. The baby kicked. Persistent. Demanding. You're going to have to deal with him too, Charlotte said to her belly. Your father. He's going to fight for custody just to hurt me, to maintain control. But I won't let him hurt you. I promise. The baby kicked again. Agreement, understanding, battle cry. Hush. That night, Charlotte had a breakdown. Not crying, worse. The kind where you sit on the bathroom floor at 2 a.m. wondering how you got here, how everything went so wrong. She sat in the empty bathtub, fully clothed, knees pulled to chest, as much as possible with the baby bump. She counted her heartbeats, 1, 2, 3, 4, trying to slow them down, trying to breathe. The baby kicked, persistent, demanding attention, refusing to let Charlotte spiral. "I know," Charlotte whispered. "I know you're there. I won't let you down. I promise." She meant it. Every word. This baby deserved better. Deserved a mother who fought, who survived, who showed her that women don't need men to save them. Starting over feels impossible, but staying felt worse. Charlotte climbed out of the tub, washed her face, looked at herself in the mirror, really looked. Her face was puffy, hair a mess, eyes red. But underneath she saw something new, something that wasn't there a week ago. Strength, determination, steel. She went back to bed, fell asleep around 4, dreamed of her father, in his workshop, building something with his hands. He looked at her, smiled. "You got this, kiddo. I made sure you got this." Bueno. Morning came. Charlotte's phone rang. Maggie. Rick's lawyer called. He wants to negotiate. And he can't buy the land. His liquid assets are tied up. His credit is maxed. The banks won't lend to him without the land as collateral. It's a catch-22. So what does he want? He's asking for time, 30 days to secure financing. In exchange, he'll agree to your custody terms, joint custody, substantial child support, and he'll drop the infidelity claims. 30 days. Charlotte thought about it. 30 more days of limbo, uncertainty, fear, or she could end it now. Accept the developer offer, $4 million, clean break. "What do you think?" Charlotte asked. "I think Rick's panicking. Desperate people make mistakes. We wait, he'll offer more. Maybe even agree to vacate the property voluntarily." "How long should we wait?" "Not long. His window is closing fast. By next week, his business partners will start distancing themselves. His reputation is already damaged. This gets worse for him every day." Good. Let it get worse. Let him feel what she felt. Helpless. Trapped. Alone. "Tell Harold we'll think about it. Don't commit to anything." Done. Charlotte hung up, looked around the hotel room. Temporary, transitional, not home. Where was home now? Not the mansion, not her mother's house, not here. Maybe home wasn't a place. Maybe it was a feeling. Safety, security, peace. She'd find it. Eventually for herself and her baby. But first, she had to finish this. End it. Close the door on Richard Bennett forever. 3 days passed. Maggie filed more motions. Rick's lawyer filed counter motions. The property dispute went public. Local news picked it up. Tech millionaire in property battle with pregnant ex-wife. Charlotte's phone exploded. Reporters, old friends who hadn't called in years. Suddenly, everyone wanted her side of the story. She gave none. But Jennifer did. She went on record. Talked about her divorce, the pattern, Rick's history. Suddenly, other women came forward. Not exes, but women who worked with Rick. Contractors who weren't paid. Designers who were threatened. Assistants who were harassed. A dam broke. Rick's perfect image shattered. The successful entrepreneur became a cautionary tale. Proof that money doesn't buy character. Charlotte watched it happen from her hotel room, on her phone, on television. Rick's empire cracking, crumbling, falling. Part of her felt guilty, like she'd started an avalanche, destroyed someone's life. Then she'd remember. He did this, all of it. She just refused to stay silent, refused to protect him from consequences. Big difference. On day 6, Charlotte went back to the mansion. First time since the eviction. Maggie came with her. Beth too. Moral support, legal protection. The gates were closed, locked. Charlotte had the code. Her father installed this system. She never changed it. 9/7/4/2, her birthday. Rick never noticed. The gates opened. They drove up the long driveway. The mansion loomed, glass and steel and marble. Impressive, imposing, empty. Rick's car was gone. Vanessa's too. Maybe he was at his office. Maybe he was avoiding her. Didn't matter. Charlotte had every right to be here. This was her land, her property. They got out. Charlotte looked at the mansion, really looked at it, tried to remember loving it, feeling proud of it, feeling like it was home. She felt nothing, just empty. It was just a building, expensive, impressive, soulless. Let's look around, Maggie said. Document everything, take photos, in case we need evidence later. They walked through the house. The foyer, the living room, the kitchen, everything was the same. Nothing was different, except Charlotte. She was different. In the master bedroom, she found evidence of Vanessa, clothes in the closet, makeup on the bathroom counter, a toothbrush. She'd moved in, just like Rick promised, but already gone, just like Rick's pattern. Charlotte's old clothes were still there, pushed to the back, hidden, out of sight, like she never existed. She pulled them out, took what she wanted, left the rest, let Rick deal with it, let him explain it to whoever came next. In Rick's study, she found documents, financial records, business contracts, and the prenup, multiple copies, highlighted, annotated, like Rick had studied it, planned every detail. She took photos, every page, every note, sent them to Maggie. This is gold, Maggie said. Evidence of premeditation. Proves he planned the divorce months in advance. They left after an hour. Charlotte took one last look at the mansion. Her father's gift, Rick's prison, both at the same time. I want to sell it, she said, not to Rick, to the highest bidder. Maggie smiled. I'll make the calls. Saw how the offers came quickly. Developers loved the location, the land, the potential. One company offered $4.3 million. Cash. Quick close. They wanted to tear down the mansion. Build luxury townhomes. Rick would lose everything. The house, the land, his status symbol, his pride. Charlotte signed the paperwork in Maggie's office. Her hand was steady. No hesitation. No regret. Once this closes, you'll have enough to start over, Maggie said. Buy a house, raise your baby, live comfortably. Comfortably? What a concept. Charlotte hadn't felt comfortable in years. Always walking on eggshells, always managing Rick's moods, always making herself small. No more. The divorce was finalized separately. Rick got nothing from Charlotte. Charlotte got child support. 50% custody once the baby was born. No alimony either way. Clean break. Patricia called, begged, pleaded. He's my son. You're destroying him. He destroyed himself, Charlotte replied. I'm just not cleaning up his mess anymore. The call ended. Charlotte blocked the number, blocked Rick's number, blocked Harold Crane, blocked everyone connected to that life. Fresh start, new beginning, no looking back. Moving day arrived. Not for Charlotte, for Rick. He had 30 days to clear out the mansion before demolition. Charlotte didn't watch. Didn't need to. Beth sent updates, Rick loading boxes, Rick hiring movers, Rick's face, angry, bitter, defeated. Vanessa was nowhere to be seen. Jennifer said she'd helped her find an apartment, get a new job, start therapy. One more survivor, one more woman who'd been through Rick's pattern and lived to tell about it. Charlotte was busy. She found an apartment, 2-bedroom, nothing fancy, but it was hers. The lease was in her name. The deposit came from the land sale. First time in her life she'd lived alone. Really alone. Independent. She painted the nursery herself, soft yellow, gender neutral, even though she knew. Mother's intuition. This baby was a girl. Strong, persistent, fighter. Just like her mother. Beth helped. They blasted 90s music, ate pizza, laughed. For the first time in weeks, Charlotte felt light, free, unburdened. I'm proud of you, Beth said. You could have backed down, taken the easy settlement, disappeared quietly. Easy for who? Not for me, not for my baby. We deserve better. And you got it. Charlotte looked around the nursery. Fresh paint, crib in the corner, rocking chair by the window. Simple, perfect, hers. This was home. Finally, she finally understood what had been hidden from her for years. Rick never loved her. He loved control, loved having someone grateful. compliant, convenient. She thought she needed him, needed his money, his status, his protection. She was wrong about all of it. The hardest part was admitting I knew all along, but I'm done lying to myself. 3 months later, Charlotte was 9 months pregnant, ready to pop. Beth's words. They went to prenatal class, breathing exercises, birth plans, all the things first-time moms stressed about. Charlotte wasn't stressed. She was ready, more than ready, excited, terrified, hopeful. After class, they went to lunch. Their favorite spot, outdoor seating, spring sunshine, Portland at its best. Have you thought about dating? Beth asked. You know, eventually. Charlotte laughed. Actually laughed. I'm about to have a baby. Dating is not on my radar. But eventually maybe, if I meet someone who respects me, who sees me, who doesn't need me to be small so he can feel big. Charlotte sipped her water. But I'm also okay alone. I like alone. She meant it, every word. Being alone wasn't lonely. It was peaceful, powerful, liberating. What about Rick? Have you heard from him? No, he has my lawyer's number. That's enough. I don't want or need direct contact. Does he know you're about to give birth? Maggie informed Harold. Per our custody agreement, Rick has visitation rights once the baby is born, but supervised, at least for the first year. Beth nodded. Good. He doesn't deserve unsupervised access. Charlotte agreed. Rick had legal rights as a father, but those rights came with boundaries, rules, oversight. Her baby would know her father, but she wouldn't be his victim, his pawn, his revenge. Charlotte would make sure of that. The baby came 2 weeks later. Labor started at 3 a.m. Charlotte woke to contractions, regular, intense. She called Beth, called her mother, called her doctor, hospital, epidural, 18 hours of labor. Beth on one side, Ellen on the other. They coached her through, breathed with her, held her hand. At 9:27 p.m., Evelyn Rose Bennett entered the world. 8 pounds, 3 ounces. Perfect. Charlotte held her, counted fingers, counted toes, breathed in that newborn smell. Hi, baby girl, I'm your mama. We're going to be just fine. Evelyn opened her eyes, looked at Charlotte, actually looked, focused, present, aware. In that moment, Charlotte understood. Everything she'd been through, every painful step, every terrifying moment, it led here to this baby, this perfect, beautiful baby. Worth it, all of it. Rick showed up the next day. Charlotte was surprised he came, but she nodded. He could see his daughter. For 5 minutes, supervised. A nurse stayed in the room. Beth, too. Lynn. They formed a protective wall. Charlotte's army. Rick looked lost. Older. He'd aged years in 3 months. His perfect facade was gone. Just a middle-aged man, tired, defeated, ordinary. He held Evelyn awkwardly, uncomfortable, like he didn't know what to do with babies. She's beautiful, he said finally. She is. Charlotte, Rick stopped, started again. I'm sorry for everything. I know it doesn't change anything, but I'm sorry. Charlotte looked at him, really looked. She saw what she couldn't see 8 years ago. The insecurity beneath the confidence, the fear beneath the control, the desperate need to always be winning. She didn't forgive him, didn't need to. Forgiveness was for people who mattered. Rick didn't matter anymore. You can be in Evelyn's life, Charlotte said. I won't keep her from you. But you and me, we're done, completely. I don't hate you. I don't think about you. You're just someone I used to know. Rick nodded, handed Evelyn back. Left. Charlotte didn't watch him go. Didn't care where he went, what he did, who he was with. He was irrelevant now. A footnote. Someone in her past she'd barely remember in 10 years. Jennifer brought Grace to visit. The little girl held Evelyn carefully, gently. She's so tiny. Can I be her big sister? Of course you can, Charlotte said. You'll be the best big sister ever. Grace beamed, kissed Evelyn's forehead. I'll teach her everything. How to ride a bike, how to braid hair, how to be brave. How to be brave. Yes, that's what they'd all teach her. Charlotte, Ellen, Beth, Jennifer, Grace, a village of women who survived, who rebuilt, who refused to be broken. Evelyn would grow up surrounded by strength, by examples of resilience, by proof that women don't need men to save them. They save themselves. Charlotte went home 3 days later. Her apartment, her space, her beginning. She set up the nursery, everything ready, everything perfect. Evelyn slept in the crib. Charlotte stood in the doorway, watching, protecting, planning. Life would be hard. Single mom, freelance income, small apartment, not the fairy tale she once imagined. But it was real, honest, hers. She thought about the mansion, probably demolished by now, turned to rubble, the land cleared, ready for something new. Poetic, full circle, everything Rick built, everything he was proud of. Gone, replaced, forgotten, while Charlotte rebuilt, stronger, better, wiser. Walking to the car after her first doctor's appointment, Charlotte noticed her reflection in a glass door. She looked different, stronger. Her shoulders were back, her head was high, baby carrier on her chest, Evelyn sleeping peacefully. When did that happen? When did she become this person, this mother, this survivor, this warrior? Maybe it was gradual. Maybe it was always there, hidden, dormant, waiting for the right moment, the right crisis, the right push. Thank you, Dad. You were right about everything. Charlotte got in her car, buckled Evelyn in the back seat, drove home, their future, their story, just beginning. 6 months passed. Kate, beautiful Case, baby Case, midnight feedings, diaper explosions, sleep deprivation, teething, colic, all of it. Charlotte loved every second, even the hard parts, even the exhausting parts. This was real, authentic, hers. She went back to work, freelance graphic design, from home her own hours, her own schedule, no boss, no husband, no one to answer to except herself and Evelyn, always Evelyn. The apartment was small but full of life, full of love, full of possibility. Charlotte had decorated it simply, IKEA furniture, Target rugs, but it felt like home in a way the mansion never did. Rick saw Evelyn every other weekend, supervised visits at a child exchange location. He showed up, mostly on time, mostly sober, did the minimum required, nothing more. Charlotte was fine with that. She didn't want him to be father of the year, just present enough, consistent enough, not harmful, low bar. He barely cleared it, but he cleared it. Grace came over often. Every weekend she was with Rick. Charlotte picked her up, gave Rick a break, gave Grace and Evelyn time together, built their bond as sisters. Daddy has a new girlfriend, Grace said one Saturday. She was helping Charlotte fold laundry, Evelyn on a playmat, cooing at toys. Oh? Charlotte tried to sound neutral, uninterested. Yeah, her name is Ashley. She's nice, but I don't think she'll last long. Charlotte paused. Why not? Grace shrugged, 8 years old now, wise beyond her years. None of them do. Daddy gets bored. Then they leave. Or he makes them leave. The pattern continued, would always continue. That's who Rick was. Who he'd always be. Charlotte felt sad for him, for all the women who'd come next, for the emptiness he'd never fill no matter how many people he cycled through. But not her problem. Not anymore. One day, Charlotte got a letter. Law firm, her stomach dropped. What now? What fresh hell? She opened it. Inside was a check. $50,000. Confusion. What? Why one? She read the letter. The development company had environmental violations, construction delays. They were selling the land back. To her. At original price. With interest. Charlotte laughed. Actually laughed out loud. Evelyn startled. Looked at her mama. Confused. It's okay, baby girl. The universe just has a sense of humor. She owned the land again, could sell it again, or hold it, let it appreciate. Legacy for Evelyn. Insurance policy. Just like her father intended. Full circle. Complete. Charlotte called Maggie. Did you know about this? I had a feeling. The environmental report was suspicious, but I didn't want to say anything until it was final. What should I do? Whatever you want. It's your land, your decision, your future. Charlotte thought about it. Sell now? Hold? Develop it herself? She had time, no rush, no pressure, no husband demanding, no one controlling her choices. Freedom, real freedom. Think I'll hold it for now, see what happens. Smart. The market's only going up. In 10 years, that land could be worth $6 million, maybe more. $6 million. Evelyn's college fund, her future, her security, everything Charlotte never had, everything she'd give her daughter. That night, Charlotte stood at her apartment window, Evelyn asleep in her arms, Portland rain outside, gentle, steady, the kind that makes everything grow. She thought about the journey, from mansion to hotel to her mother's house to here, from wife to survivor to mother to herself. The woman she was 6 months ago wouldn't recognize her now. That woman was smaller, quieter, afraid. This woman was none of those things. Looking back, I can finally see the truth. The worst thing that happened to me was also the best thing, because it forced me to find myself, and I was worth finding all along. She kissed Evelyn's forehead, breathed in that baby smell, lavender soap, milk, innocence. Someday, baby girl, I'll tell you about your grandfather, how he taught me that security doesn't come from money or men or mansions. Charlotte rocked gently. It comes from knowing who you are and never forgetting your worth. Evelyn made soft sleeping sounds, content, safe, loved. Charlotte looked at her reflection in the window. Mother and daughter, beginning their story, writing their future. She thought about that day, 6 months ago, 7 months, time blurred. Standing in the mansion foyer, Rick saying, "Pack your things and get out." She thought her life was ending, thought she had nothing, was nothing. She was wrong about everything. Her life wasn't ending, it was beginning, finally. Actually, honestly, the mansion, the money, the marriage. None of it mattered. None of it was real. This was real. Evelyn, her mother, Beth, Jennifer, Grace, her village, her family, her strength. Charlotte had everything she needed, everything that mattered, everything worth fighting for. And she fought. God, did she fight, would keep fighting, every day, for herself, for her daughter, for every woman who thought she had nothing. You have everything, you just have to claim it. A year later, Evelyn's first birthday, Charlotte threw a party, small, intimate, her mother, Beth, Jennifer, Grace, a few friends from prenatal class, neighbors from the apartment building, cake, balloons, presents, Evelyn smashing frosting on her face, laughing, delighted, perfect. Rick came, brought a present, expensive, unnecessary, stayed for 30 minutes, left, obligation fulfilled. Charlotte didn't care. This was her party, her family, her celebration. Rick was just a guest, temporary, optional, irrelevant. After everyone left, Charlotte cleaned up. Evelyn napped, exhausted from excitement. The apartment was quiet, peaceful. Charlotte sat on the floor, looked at photos on her phone. Evelyn's first year, first smile, first laugh, first tooth, first word, mama. Always mama. Milestones Rick missed, moments he'd never get back. His choice, his loss. Someone knocked. Charlotte opened the door. Beth, holding coffee, 2 cups. Thought you might need this. They sat on the couch, drank coffee, watched Evelyn sleep through the baby monitor. You did good, Beth said, really good. I just survived. That's not special. Yes, it is. Survival is everything. You could have given up, gone back to him, taken his money, stayed small. You didn't. That's courage. Courage. Charlotte didn't feel courageous. She felt tired, grateful, lucky. But maybe that was what courage looked like. Not grand gestures, not heroic moments. Just showing up every day, doing the work, refusing to quit. I couldn't have done it without you, Charlotte said. Without Mom, without Jennifer, without everyone. That's the point. We're not supposed to do it alone. We're supposed to lift each other up. That's how we survive. They sat in comfortable silence. Best friends, 25 years, through everything, Always. Charlotte's phone buzzed. Email from Maggie. Just checking in. How's Evelyn? How are you? Charlotte smiled. Typed back. We're perfect. Both of us. Thank you for everything. Three dots appeared. Then, you did the hard part. I just filed papers. You're the hero here. Hero. Charlotte didn't feel like a hero. Heroes were brave, strong, fearless. She was just a woman, a mother, a survivor, doing her best one day at a time. Maybe that was enough. Maybe that was everything. 2 years later, Evelyn was running now, talking, full personality, stubborn, funny, bright. She looked like Charlotte, same eyes, same smile, but she had Rick's determination, his drive, hopefully without the manipulation. Charlotte worked from home still, freelance, but more established now. Regular clients, steady income, enough to save, enough to plan, enough to dream. The land, still hers, still appreciating. Worth $5 million now. Maggie was right. Everything went up. Portland real estate was booming. Charlotte thought about selling, taking the money, buying a house, something permanent, something stable. But part of her wanted to hold, keep it, her father's gift, her insurance policy, her legacy for Evelyn. No rush, no pressure, her choice, her timeline. One Saturday, Charlotte took Evelyn to the park, the same park where she met Jennifer 2 years ago. Full circle, the roses were blooming, red, pink, yellow, her mother's favorites. Evelyn ran ahead, chasing butterflies, laughing, free, unaware of the story that brought her here, the pain that preceded her existence. Charlotte watched her, heart full, grateful, blessed. This child, this perfect child, worth every tear, every fight, every sleepless night. A woman sat down next to her, 30s, pregnant, crying quietly. Charlotte recognized that look, that fear, that desperate confusion. "Are you okay?" Charlotte asked, even though she knew the answer. The woman looked at her, tears streaming. "My husband, he said, I don't know what to do." Charlotte handed her a tissue. "Do you have somewhere safe to go?" The woman shook her head. "No family here, no money, nothing in my name. I have nothing." Nothing, that word. Charlotte knew it intimately, lived it, survived it, overcame it. "You don't have nothing," Charlotte said. "You have yourself, you have your baby, and you have options, more than you think." She told the woman about Maggie, about shelters, about resources, about the fact that nothing is truly nothing. It just feels that way when you're in it. The woman listened, wrote down numbers, thanked her, left with more hope than she arrived with. Charlotte watched her go, remembered herself 2 years ago, lost, scared, convinced she was powerless. How wrong she was, how blind. Power was always there, inside, waiting. She just had to claim it. That night, Charlotte put Evelyn to bed, read her favorite book, kissed her goodnight, watched her fall asleep, peaceful, safe, loved. She went to her room, looked at the photo on her nightstand, her father, in his workshop, smiling, strong, wise, protective even in death. "Thank you," Charlotte whispered, "for seeing what I couldn't see, for protecting me when I couldn't protect myself, for giving me a way out, a way forward." She touched the frame, felt closer to him than she had in years. He was gone, but his gift remained, the land, the security, the future he built for her brick by brick, acre by acre, deed by deed. Charlotte thought about Rick. Where was he now? Did he ever think about her, about Evelyn? Did he understand what he lost, what he threw away? Probably not. People like Rick never understood, never learned, never changed. They just moved on, found new victims, repeated patterns, blamed everyone else for their emptiness. Charlotte felt sorry for him, genuinely. What a lonely existence. What a hollow life, always searching, never finding, never satisfied, never enough. She was glad she wasn't him, wasn't trapped in that cycle, wasn't defined by what she owned, who she controlled, how she looked to others. She was defined by who she was, what she survived, how she loved, the life she built from rubble. 3 years after the eviction, Charlotte got an email, Rick was getting married. To Ashley, the girlfriend Grace mentioned. Apparently she lasted longer than most. Good for them. Maybe she was different. Maybe Rick had changed. Maybe it would work. Charlotte doubted it, but it wasn't her problem, wasn't her life, wasn't her concern. She sent a polite congratulations. Meant it, sort of. Hoped Ashley knew what she was getting into. Hoped she had her own land deed, her own insurance policy, her own way out, just in case. Evelyn started preschool. Charlotte cried on the first day, watched her daughter walk into the classroom. Brave, confident, independent, everything Charlotte worked to instill, to model, to be. She'll be fine, the teacher said, and so will you. Charlotte knew, but still, watching your child step into the world, take their first steps toward independence, it was terrifying, beautiful, necessary. Let go, trust, believe. Hard lessons, important lessons. Betternata. 4 years later, Charlotte sold the land, finally. $6.2 million. All hers. Clean, clear, no disputes, no drama, just transaction. She bought a house, small, 3 bedrooms, backyard for Evelyn, garden for roses, her mother's roses. Ellen helped her plant them. Red, pink, yellow, white, circle of life, generations, wisdom passed down, love that never dies. Charlotte also started a fund for women leaving abusive relationships, financial assistance, legal support, housing help, everything she wished she'd had, everything someone gave her, paying it forward. She called it the William Hayes Foundation, after her father, her protector, her teacher, her first example of what love should look like: unconditional, selfless, wise, enduring. 5 years after the eviction, Charlotte met someone, not looking, not trying, just happened. David, elementary school teacher, kind, patient, funny, nothing like Rick. Everything Rick wasn't. He met Evelyn, played dolls, read stories, made silly faces, didn't try to be her father. Just a friend, patient, present, safe. Charlotte was cautious, guarded, suspicious of everything, everyone, but slowly, carefully, she let him in, piece by piece, wall by wall, layer by layer. I'm not easy, she told him. I have baggage, history, trust issues. I come with a child, a whole past you can't fix or change. David smiled. I'm not trying to fix anything. I'm just trying to know you, the real you, all of you. The real you. Charlotte barely knew who that was. She'd spent so long being what others needed, what Rick wanted, what society expected. The real Charlotte was still emerging, still forming, still figuring it out. I don't know if I'm ready. That's okay, I'll wait. No pressure. No timeline, no expectations. Charlotte believed him, wanted to believe him, decided to try. Because maybe that's what healing looked like. Not perfection, not fearlessness, just willingness. To try, to risk, to hope. 6 years after the eviction, Evelyn's first grade class did a project. Draw your hero. Write about them. Evelyn drew Charlotte, standing tall, holding her hand, both smiling. My hero is my mama. She's brave and strong. She takes care of me by herself. She works hard. She helps other people. She teaches me to be strong too. She says we don't need anyone to save us. We save ourselves. Charlotte read it, tears streaming, heart full, pride overwhelming. This was it. This was everything. This was why she fought, why she survived, why she refused to quit. For Evelyn, for herself, for every woman who needed proof that it gets better. Life continues. Joy returns. You survey your mom. You rebuild. You threw your bone. 7 years after the eviction, Charlotte stood in her backyard, garden in full bloom, roses everywhere. Red, pink, yellow, white. Her mother's legacy, her father's memory, her daughter's future. Evelyn played on the swing set. David pushed her, both laughing, happy, content. Charlotte thought about the mansion, long gone, demolished, rebuilt, Townhomes now, other families, other lives, other stories. Her story started there in that foyer. With those words, pack your things and get out. She thought her life was ending. Thought she had nothing, was nothing, would become nothing. She was wrong about everything, so completely wrong. Her life wasn't ending. It was beginning, the real life, the authentic life, the life she chose instead of settled for. Looking back, she could finally see the truth. The worst thing that happened to her was also the best thing, because it forced her to find herself, to claim her power, to understand her worth. And she was worth finding all along. Always was, always would be. Security doesn't come from money or men or mansions. It comes from knowing who you are and never forgetting your worth. Charlotte had both now. Hard-won, battle-tested, earned through fire and tears and determination. She was Charlotte Bennett, mother, survivor, fighter, woman who owned her story, her power, her future. And that was everything. More than everything. Enough, always enough. Evelyn ran over. "Mama, watch me swing high." Charlotte watched, applauded, celebrated every moment, every milestone, every precious second of this beautiful life they built together. "I'm watching, baby girl. I'm always watching." 8 years later, Charlotte sat at her father's grave, first time in years, too busy living to visit. But today felt right, important, necessary. She told him everything, the land, the fight, the survival, Evelyn, David, the foundation, all of it. "You saved me, Dad, before I even needed saving. You gave me a way out, a way forward, a way to be myself." The wind blew, gentle, warm, like an answer, like approval, like love that transcends death. Charlotte stood, placed roses on the grave. Her mother's roses, red, pink, yellow, white, circle of life, love that never dies. She walked back to her car. David and Evelyn waited, her family, her present, her future, no longer defined by who she married, who she left, what she lost, defined by who she became, what she survived, what she built. Millionaire threw pregnant wife out of the mansion, not knowing she owned the land beneath it. But that was just the beginning, the catalyst, the spark. The real story? Woman discovered her power, claimed her worth, built a life that mattered, on her terms, in her way, with her rules. And they all lived, not happily ever after, nothing that simple, that easy, that perfect. They lived, really lived, fully, authentically, bravely, and that was better than any fairy tale, better than any mansion, better than any ending she could have imagined. This was her story, and it was beautiful. And that's Charlotte's story, a woman who lost everything, only to discover she had the power all along. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button. It helps more than you know. Drop a comment below. Tell me, what would you have done in Charlotte's situation? Share this with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because stories like this, they're just the beginning. See you in the next one.